gotta go. Next time you hear the sound of my voice will be for the evening announcements coming up at 6:30. Thank you to the Queens of Bouillon, led by Her Majesty Queen Caroline. And time to bring you the evening news right here on your nation station, DBS Radio.
Fair and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here now is your presenter with the headlines.
In the headlines, a 28-year-old man from Maho, Belfast is charged with murder and attempted murder. Regionally, Jamaica's tourism minister says visitor arrivals could double or even triple if the downward trend in crime continues. Internationally, India confirms it has launched a military operation against Pakistan. The details of these stories and more coming up next.
Too often, customers are counted but not valued. Like mere numbers, statistics, transactions. But at Flow, we're prioritizing you, our valued customers who have been with us through every milestone, every moment. That's why we're putting our money where your loyalty is. Flow customers claim up to $400 in rewards for smartphones, groceries, and more when you add mobile to your current internet plan. Because loyalty isn't a one-way street. At Flow, loyalty flows both ways.
DBS News.
And welcome back. A 28-year-old man from Belfast, Maho, has been remanded into custody at Stock Farm Prison after he was charged on multiple criminal offences, including murder and attempted murder. Ronaldo Luke reports.
On Tuesday, Duran Sebastian appeared before the Chief Magistrate, formally charged with the murder of 30-year-old Iman Kimon Benjamin Emmanuel. According to the complaint, the incident allegedly occurred on April 27, 2025 in Roseau. Sebastian was also charged with the attempted murder of Cheyenne Sabruch, stemming from the same incident. Police previously reported that on April 27th, both Emmanuel and Sabruch were shot in Roseau in an area commonly referred to as Washington Block. Emmanuel succumbed to his injuries while Sabruch was hospitalized. In addition to the murder and attempted murder charges, Sebastian faces 2 counts of conspiracy to commit murder. It is alleged that between January 1, 2025 and April 28, 2025, he conspired with others to murder both Emmanuel and Sabruch. Sebastian, who is represented by attorney-at-law Don Yewood Stewart, was not required to enter a plea to these charges as they are indictable offences expected to be tried at the High Court before a judge and jury. Separately, the 28-year-old was also charged with possession of 3.4 grams of cocaine with intent to supply to another. He elected a summary trial on this charge and pleaded not guilty. The court has scheduled the trial for the drug-related charge for June 17, 2025 at the St. Joseph Magistrate Court. Meanwhile, the preliminary inquiry into the indictable offences is expected to begin on August 11, 2025 at the Roseau Magistrate Court. During this stage of the proceeding, the magistrate will determine whether there is sufficient evidence to commit the matter to the High Court for trial. Due to the nature of the offences, particularly the murder charge, the magistrate did not have the jurisdiction to grant bail. As such, Sebastian was remanded into custody at the Dominica State Prison. Ronaldo Luke reporting for DBS News.
And a special thanks to Ronaldo Luke for that report. Businessman Kenny Green has defended the Citizenship by Investment program. His statements comes following a call by Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt in Antigua recently for the private sector to speak out in support of the program. Mr. Green says the importance of the CBI to Dominica must be highlighted.
Yes, the CBI is critical to the economy of Dominica. It contributes over 40% of our GDP. So essentially, every Dominican has a stake in it, primarily because if you look at the amount of people who are employed by the public sector, which in many ways is subsisted by the CBI, then every time you have a public sector employee getting paid at the end of the month and contributing to the private sector in consumption, we are all benefiting. So I think it's kind of a moot point about whether the country benefits. I think those who want to see a more direct benefit from the CBI program will have to wait until the infrastructure development actually starts to yield results. Things like the hotels, So, for example, Jungle Bay is active and running. So those employees, the 140 plus employees of Jungle Bay and other providers, know the benefits that come from the investment by CBI. The same will happen with the international airport. The same will happen with the marina. The same will happen with the tram to the Boiling Lake.
Businessman Kenny Green. The Ministry of Health is reporting an end to the most significant gastroenteritis outbreak that Dominica has experienced in the last 18 years. The outbreak, which began in January, saw over 1,600 reported cases. National epidemiologist Dr. Shaladin Ahmed disclosed the information at a recent health update.
I'm happy to report that gastroenteritis outbreak, which began on January 5, has officially come to an end as of April 19. During this period, a total of 1,679 cases were reported, representing an attack rate of 2.4%. This makes it most significant gastroenteritis outbreak Dominica has experienced in the past 18 years. To give you a clearer picture, the number of cases reported during this outbreak, 1,679, is significantly higher than what we typically see in an entire year. On average, Dominica records around 1,137 gastroenteritis cases annually. In fact, even during previous outbreaks, the numbers were lower. For example, in 2022, we saw only 122 cases. And the last major outbreak, which followed Hurricane Maria from October 2017 to March 2018, recorded 1,509 cases, still fewer than what we just experienced.
Dr. Ahmed says about 92 individuals were hospitalized during the gastroenteritis outbreak period.
In terms of case distribution, females accounted for 58% of all reported cases, and children aged 0 to 14 years made up another 58%, indicating a high burden of our youngest population. The outbreak affected 124 communities across all health districts, with Roseau Health District being the most impacted. A total of 92 individuals required hospitalization, mainly for rehydration and supportive care. Laboratory testing was conducted on selected stool samples for over 20 possible bacterial, viral, and parasitic pathogens. The predominant causative agent identified was rotavirus, classifying this outbreak as an outbreak of rotaenteritis. Thankfully, no deaths were reported as a result of this outbreak.
National epidemiologist Dr. Shaladin Ahmed. Member of Parliament for the Paybush constituency, Lakia Joseph, says the reconstruction of the Ansdemay port will enhance Dominica's emergency response capacity. Recently, the government of Dominica signed a contract at a cost of over $4 million with offshore civil and marine for the reconstruction of the Ansdemay port.
All in all, this new jetty is purpose-built and people-focused. A 65-meter suspended concrete deck with a T-end for larger vessels, expanded width for ease of use, potable water access, lighting fixtures, fender systems, and a community-informed design. This is not just an infrastructure, it is inclusion. The very design of the jetty incorporates feedback from our people. This is development by the people, with the people, and for the people. And it doesn't end here. This port will enhance our national capacity for emergency response, allow for greater trade and export, and serve as a launching point for ecotourism and cultural engagement. It is an essential link in the northern chain, connecting us to opportunity and resilience.
Member of Parliament for the Paybush constituency, Lakia Joseph. The first ever National Trade Union Congress for Dominica is set to be launched on July 9th. General Secretary of the Public Service Union, Thomas Later, told a joint May Day celebration at Sufria yesterday that after many years of attempting to form a trade union congress, 4 unions have shown an interest in taking the process forward.
In Dominica, as we have observed May Day this year, we do so with the reality that the establishment of a National Trade Union Congress is closer than it has ever been. And we must applaud ourselves for that. 4 trade unions, the Dominica Association of Teachers, the Waterfront and Allied Workers Union, DAO, and the Dominica Public Service Union, have come together and we have given ourselves early July for the launching of a long overdue trade union congress. This year's joint celebration is seen as a precursor to that eventuality, and the ILO is on board with us as we pursue that goal. Together, as a Congress, we'll provide more effective and rewarding representation to workers. We will be able to greater influence legislation and policies which will not only impact our constituents, but our country in general. Our ability to lobby for changes to improve economic and social development will place us in a stronger position to receive better working conditions and remuneration.
General Secretary of the Public Service Union, Thomas Later. Meantime, President of the Dominica Association of Teachers, Mervyn Alexander, has called on the authorities to pay attention to the appointment of Dominican teachers.
Never in the history of the teaching service has a teacher had to wait for 10, 15, and even 20 years to get permanent appointments. In my days, after completing teacher training, you were appointed a qualified teacher within the academic year. Now you're being told that you have to wait another 2 years to be appointed a qualified teacher after you are trained. This is nonsense. And even after you have been teaching for how many years, you're still being asked to wait 2 years again to be appointed a qualified teacher. This shouldn't happen. So I'm saying to our teachers, wake up. You are sleeping too long. Levy, so God dumb it up. Yes, wake up. In today's world, too many workers are like parasites and stay out of the unions, relying on only a few to carry the burden. I recall as a united force in the 70s, through a united force of unions, many significant things were achieved. So I urge you, go back and read your history and you'll see for yourselves.
President of the Dominica Association of Teachers, Mervyn Alexander. President of the Waterfront and Allied Workers Union, Donald Roll, said the involvement of the youth in trade union activities is needed for the growth of the trade union movement in Dominica.
For many years we have tried as well, and we have not gotten the turnout from our own membership. Today is a unique opportunity for us. We just need to get our young persons on board. It's imperative that young persons join the fight. We are on our way all. We can provide guidance, experience, expertise, skills, whatever. But the young persons, we need your energy. We need your push. We need your drive. Do not allow yourselves to be caught up or distracted in other activity. It is sad that the only thing that you can get young persons to attend is CO. That is not bringing true and real development to our country. And we want to understand that. We have to understand that, because unless young people are involved in the union, we can now begin to plan for future. And I mean future 10, 15 years. We can see new leadership emerging from the young persons. We have to take our membership serious. We have to take our involvement in unions serious.
President of the Waterfront and Allied Workers Union, Donald Roll. Local Government Commissioner Glenroy Tusa says systems have to be put in place to attract more youth into local government. On Friday, the 129th anniversary of Local Government Month will be observed in Dominica. Tusa was a guest on DBS Radio's Talking Point program this morning.
The young people are kind of different than us. You know, we are older folks, so we might have the traditional kind of way in us. So things are modernized, and that too we have to accept. And so we need to find a mechanism to make certain things attractive for the young people. We need to, as a local government movement, to, as Portsmouth has been doing, to encourage the other councils to make maximum use of the social media platform, the TikTok, the Facebook, Twitter, the FaceTime, and all of those social media platforms can really help in enhancing not only the image of the council, but encouraging the young people to participate in that process. We have to understand it. We have to engage them. There's an initiative that I really like in Trafalgar, where they have what we call the junior council. So they have a set of young people, 8 young people. They're members of a junior council, and that junior council sort of will take guide from the bigger council that they have in Trafalgar. And what has happened is that there have been a lot of transformation in the young people who are serving on the junior council. They sort of graduate. So as we speak now, there are a number of graduates from the junior council into the village council in Trafalgar. And I'm saying that sort of initiative we can look at, but we have to find a platform to engage and to allow, to provide the opportunity for young people to participate in the process. Because if we are to survive another 100 years of local government, it is clearly dependent on our young people.
Local Government Commissioner Glenn Roy Tusa taking us to the end of this evening's National Focus. Up next is news from the region and international.
Here's a fun fact. In just 29 seconds, you can say goodbye to paper bills forever. Seriously, in 29 seconds. That's less time than this ad. Head over to discoverflow.co or visit us in-store and update your contact information now. By October 1st, your bills will be digital, easy to access, secure, and hassle-free. So what are you waiting for? This ad still has 2 seconds left, and you could have already gone paperless.
DBS News.
And welcome back. Now news from the region. Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett says Jamaica's tourism sector could see visitor arrivals double or even triple provided the ongoing downward trend in crime continues. His remarks comes in response to Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness's recent comment that crime remains the primary barrier preventing Jamaica from reaching 10 to 15 million visitors annually. Bartlett said the Prime Minister is absolutely correct, noting that the current decline in crime has significantly enhanced Jamaica's image as a safe and welcoming destination. Bartlett stated that recent statistics indicated that a steady decrease in violent crimes and other criminal activities across the island provides that positive image. He also added that what is being witnessed in terms of crime reduction is not just good news for the tourism industry, but also for local communities. Internationally, India says it has launched a military operation against Pakistan, hitting terrorist infrastructure in both Pakistan and Pakistan-administered Kashmir, in a major escalation of tensions between the two neighbors. India's Ministry of Defense, in a statement, says these steps come in the wake of the barbaric terrorist attack in which 25 Indians and one Nepali citizen were murdered. The statement added that India's actions have been focused, measured on non-escalatory natures, and that no Pakistan military facilities have been targeted. India said 9 sites in total were targeted. A spokesperson for the Pakistani military says Pakistan will respond to it at a time and place of its choosing. This brings us to the end of this evening's news. Up next is sports.
Covering the nation and beyond. DBS Sports Report.
Here's a fun fact. In just 29 seconds, you can say goodbye to paper bills forever. Seriously, in 29 seconds. That's less time than this ad. Head over to discoverflow.co or visit us in-store and update your contact information now. By October 1st, your bills will be digital, easy to access, secure, and hassle-free. So what are you waiting for? This ad still has 2 seconds left, and you could have already gone paperless.
And welcome to your DBS Evening Sports Report for today, 6 May 2025. First, we bounce into some basketball news as the spots in the finals of the Sports Division Secondary Schools Basketball Tournament were up for grabs this afternoon at the Massac Indoor Facility. We join sports editor Gavin Richards with the latest as the boys' playoffs have just concluded.
Well, good evening to you, Hassan Robinson. Of course, good evening to the listeners of DBS Radio. And I'm greeting you with the news that the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School have advanced to the finals of the boys division of the secondary school basketball competition. And they did so just a few moments ago with a hard-fought win over the Northeast Comprehensive Isaiah Thomas Secondary School, winning that game 70-60. And of course, Meshach Debule, he top scored 34 points for the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School and got some good support from Jaden Stewart, who had 13, while we had Aliad Henry getting 23 points for the Northeast Comprehensive. It was a very close game, Hassan Robinson, and of course the two teams traded blows back and forth, but the ITSS managed to pull away in the dying stages of the game to secure that 10-point win. So we managed to speak with the captain of the ITSS team, Meshach Debule.
All right, so we've got with us the captain of the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School, Meshach Debule. Meshach, and another good performance from you individually, and more importantly, you've helped your team into the finals tomorrow, on Friday. Let's talk about this game. What were your thoughts on the game this afternoon?
Well, my thoughts was that I don't believe that we could really big on our team performance, but today my team participated good, which surprised me a lot. so I expect them to do more in the game Friday.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that because throughout the season, it's more or less been a one-man show. You've been really dominating in the points. How pleasing was it to see your teammates step up when it really mattered most?
Well, it wasn't my first time seeing bid on that. Last number 10, Jaden Stewart. He's one of the main top second scorer, which he surprised me a lot. Amari, they even played well today. I surprised. Defense is more outstanding than most of the times they play. So I really thankful for that.
All right, one more step to go. It's Dominican State College on Friday. What's your confidence level like heading into that game?
With my confidence level now, I see that they had a chance when they beat me, but now I understand the basics of how to play them. So now I understand how to spread out the court and the concepts of playing the game properly, not rushing it, but basic fundamentals.
All right, thank you very much, Meshach Debulu, and all the best in the finals on Friday.
Thank you.
All right, and that was the captain of the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School, Meshach Debulu. Of course, we also had the girls' semifinals or playoffs as well. And the Portsmouth Secondary School, they were able to beat the Northeast Comprehensive School 49-35 to advance to Friday's finals as well. Portsmouth Secondary School, they're looking for their 5th straight championship, and they will meet the Convent High School in the finals on Friday. Like we said, Portsmouth Secondary School beating the Northeast Comprehensive 49-35. The Maya Ford, he scored 14 points off the bench for the Portsmouth Secondary School, battling an injury and came into the game late into the first quarter and really helped the school to the victory. We also had Temikia Pelwi getting 12 points for the Portsmouth Secondary School, while Shania Lura had 18 points for the Northeast Comprehensive. Let's get some reaction from the respective coaches of both schools.
All right, we got it first. Keanu Dorset, the head coach of the NECS team. So Dorset, well, a tough afternoon for your squad, but how would you assess the performance from your girls today?
Technically, the girls, they had a rough game today because they did not focus more on the defense. We could see that they were more centralized on shooting, and at the end of the day, they was not shooting properly. They did not take time to shoot. They was just throwing up the ball most of the time, but I believe with enough training, we can get them to the standard we need them.
You're off to a good start during that first quarter, but things seem to have just unraveled, let's say after halftime there. So what defensively went wrong? What would you say went wrong defensively?
I would say that the girls were opening up the center of the playing area, so from the three-pointer line to the outer skirt of the court, they were leaving a big gap in the center, and number 22 for Portsmouth and 23 were technically taking advantage of the center most of the time, and by time my team actually understood what they had to do, it was too late.
All right. Nonetheless, what are some of the positives that you can take from this season, making it all the way to the playoff round?
Well, one of the positives I can say, due to lack of training and lack of understanding for some of my girls, because it's a very young squad, and I can say that they put their best foot forward technically, and there were a lot of improvement for some of my younger players. They actually stepped up their game this season, and I look forward to next season.
All right, thank you very much, Keanu Dorset, the head coach of the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School. And as we said, the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School, or that should be the Northeast Comprehensive, my apologies. Northeast Comprehensive went down 47-35 to the Portsmouth Secondary School. But let's quickly get some comments from the head coach of the PSS team, Washwe Douglas. And Washwe, well, good score for your team, and your team back in the finals yet again.
Yeah, we're back. We're going 4-5 pit, but I wasn't too satisfied with the game. That's not our best game, and hopefully when we come back on Friday, we'll show a better game. And we are one of our main players, and I was sick, so we have to deal with that too.
Yeah, I was about to say that because she started off the game on the bench, but came in and had a real big impact carrying the team to the victory.
Yeah, and we expect her to be better next game. And one or two players that were not there, hopefully they'll be there next game, so we'll play a better game next time.
All right, and you're coming up against the Convent High School, who are themselves making a return to the competition, and they're into the final. So what are some of the adjustments that you think you need to make as you head to play the Convent High School on Friday?
Well, we played Convent already. The first game was against Convent, and we showed that we're up to our level. So I'm not really worried about Convent. I worry about we playing the game we have to play, and if we do that, we're all right. Especially when we are looking for 5 in a row. You know.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Douglas, and all the best in the finals come Friday. So that was the head coach of the PSS team, Washway Douglas.
And a special thanks to Gavin Richards for everything sports and always on top of things, right? Keeping us alive here at the Massac Indoor Facility. And congratulations to all the teams who participated and all of those who put in that hard work, right? Into some football news, the Roosevelt Skerrit Bombers FC have expressed their disappointment that top striker Lemaya Ford was overlooked as the Dominica Football Association's Female Player of the Year. Ford, who was an instrumental player in leading the Bombers Starlights to their first ever DFA Women's Premier League title, was also the league's leading goal scorer and was named the best attacker. Ford also carried her form into the national setup, where she was amongst the goals for the national team. New India Guru Runners midfielder Roselia Regis was named the DFA Female Player of the Year. Bombers Club President Jerry Williams says Lemaya Ford made a strong case for the prestigious award.
We are disappointed that Lemaya did not receive the awards for Female Football of the Year from a club point of view, but even more so disappointed because of recently we have seen the efforts placed on growing women football. The Caribbean Football Union has spent a lot of time, have invested a lot in regards to shedding light on women football, because they see that women football has been on a decline. Women football, you're not been attracting, the level of players that they want within the Caribbean Football Union, mind you. And so I asked the question, how do you not award a young lady who has, when compared to her male counterpart, has done the same thing and he has received the Male Footballer of the Year? How do you encourage her peers to want to continue to play the game when they seen the one who dominated the last season was not given that award?
Roosevelt Skerrit Bombers President Jerry Williams. Williams says Lemaya Ford's achievement for 2024 were on a different level.
The most goals, the golden boot, the best forward, scored internationally. Her team won the championship, yet still someone felt the need not to award her Footballer of the Year, Female Footballer of the Year. How do you grow the game? How do you increase participation? How do you develop a clear pathway? How do you raise the standards? How do you focus on development? How do you address gender inequality? How do you showcase the game when someone who has such talent not being judged Female Footballer of the Year? All we're asking the Football Association is just give us the clear criteria for how you make the decision of who is the best footballer of the year, whether it be male, whether it be female. And it's not only for a Bombers situation, but for all the teams, for all the clubs who have players who wants to aspire one day to either be on a national team, to either be a professional player, or to either be Footballer of the Year. What is the clear path? What do you have to do to become that ultimate player, the best player on the island?
Roosevelt Skerrit Bombers Club President Jerry Williams. Into some cricket news, as Dominica's Alec Athanaze will miss out on the West Indies' next ODI assignments against Ireland and England, as he was not amongst the players selected for the tour, which gets underway later this month. Athanaze's last appearance for the West Indies in ODI cricket against Bangladesh was in December. He played only one game in the series, as Athanaze has played 13 ODIs for the West Indies, scoring 306 runs at an average of 23. The tour will start with a 3-match series against Ireland from May 21 and then a 3-match series against England from May 29th. The Windies teams reads Shea Hope as the captain, Jewel Andrew, Casey Carty, Roston Chase, Matthew Ford, Justin Greaves, Amir Django, Alzari Joseph, Shamar Joseph, Brandon King, Evan Luis, Gudekesh Moti, Shafane Rutherford, Jaden Seals and Romario Shepherd. Meantime, CWI has announced changes to the coaching staff for the tour. Former West Indies fast bowler and 2012 World Cup champion Ravi Rampur will be the team's bowling coach, replacing James Franklin. CWI will also utilize the services of former Ireland all-rounder Kevin O'Brien as part of the coaching staff during the Ireland leg of the tour. Into some more sports news, the Windward Islands women held on for a 3-wicket win over tournament leaders of Trinidad to pick up their first win in the CWI Regional T20 Blaze tournament in St. Vincent on Monday. Windwards restricted Trinidad to just 72 for 8 in their 20 overs. Brittany Cooper got 20, Selena Ross took 2 for 5, Zaida James 2 for 9, Afi Fletcher 2 for 10. The Windwards in reply were struggling at 24 for 6 before Ernisha Fontaine and Karina Noel took the team home. Fontaine got 11 not out and Noel 25 for the Windwards as they got 73 for 7 to pick up their first win of the tournament. Anisha Mohammed bagged 3 for 12 for Trinidad. Into some volleyball action, Dominica came up short in their bid to secure podium spots in the ECVA Beach Volleyball Tournament, which ended last weekend in St. Lucia. After a promising start to the competition, where the team went undefeated in the opening day, Dominica suffered some setbacks over the next 2 days of the competition. The team of Mervyn Mingo and Bill Frederick finished in 4th place in the men's division with 168 points. Dominica came up short in their bid to secure that podium as the points again read 168 points for the men's division. Into some basketball action once more, the Dominica Amateur Basketball Association has named a 33-man squad to begin preparations for the 2025 Quayola Memorial Day Cup. The tournament will feature teams from Benin, Martinique, and Guadeloupe, as well as Dominica. The tournament will be held in Martinique in May. The players selected for the national team training are Jaden Scotland, Jamal Peltier, and Alan Peters from the BAA Sharks. Andel Olivachi, Omarion Blah, and Charlton Charles from 767 Sports Club Young Ballers, Kerbin Nathan, Deshaun Lee, Maxwell Birmingham, Thomas Felix, Lester Langley from the Detroit Blazers, Karim Daniel, Kaifa Francis, Kiwan Thomas, Mishbak Dibole, Peter Ricketts, Yawani Regis, Zach Bastian, and Ramal Carbon from the Dr. Darrow Pishle Sports Club Falcons, Lenin Paul, Ethan Boland, and Shamar Felicity of the Paybush Super Eagles, Sheleon Vidal and Sharon Vidal from the West Coast Ballers, Sherwin Williams of the Jar Lions, Tilo Birmingham, Kelsey Guy, and Wakami Fabian of the 767 SC Dominators. 5 overseas-based players have also been included. They are Jacob Barry and Keyshawn Shillingford from Stonehill University, Malik Lora from Champion College, Najami George, who attended the University of New Haven, and Renee Williams attending Monroe College. The other team of Flora, that's into some the second half of our volleyball news. The other team of Flora and Robinson finished off with 5th with 144 points in their stint in that volleyball action, whilst the women's division, the team of Pascal and Henry finished 8th place with 128 points. Well, this is all the news we have for the news and sports. Special thanks to the DBS News and Sports team and Link personnel DJ Hillboy.
Here's a fun fact. In just 29 seconds, you can say goodbye to paper bills forever. Seriously, in 29 seconds. That's less time than this ad. Head over to discoverflow.co or visit us in-store and update your contact information now. By October 1st, your bills will be digital, easy to access, secure, and hassle-free. So what are you waiting for? This ad still has 2 seconds left, and you could have already gone paperless.
DBS Radio gives you top quality service over any other for live streaming of funerals. Call us today at 448-3282.
Good evening and welcome to the evening edition of the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. It is the 6th day of May 2025 and we begin with this evening's edition of the DBS Radio Death Announcements. We announce the death of Francisca Nicholas, better known as Sika, of Piditsavan, who resided at Canefield. She was a retired teacher. She died on Monday, the 21st of April, at her residence. She was the wife of Clifford. She was the mother of Jennifer, Jerisa, and Justin. She will be remembered by her daughter-in-law, Adri, her son-in-law, Kevin,